Military defense, big tech, oil and gas, these are just a few of the billion-dollar industries that are regulated by our Congress. And some of the same lawmakers making those laws are investing in those companies.
That's right. These elected officials could be breaking the law or at least skirting it. Both Republicans and Democrats are now calling for a stop to stock trading by members of Congress. CBN's Tara Mergener explains.
Excuses from lawmakers range from an innocent oversight to clerical errors. Still, the revelation from this report is causing a show of unity not recently seen on Capitol Hill.
Go ahead, shout it out.
The gentleman is not in order.
Republicans and Democrats may not agree on much these days.
There'll be order in the House.
But Washington observers agree both are guilty of ignoring a decade-old law aimed at curbing corruption and conflicts of interest.
When you have so many members of Congress, and more importantly, their staffs that are actively buying and selling stocks that involve the industries and the specific businesses that they help oversee and regulate, it's incredibly concerning.
The 2012 Stock Act requires members to quickly disclose any stock trade made by themselves, a spouse, or a dependent child. Republican Senator Josh Hawley and Democratic Senator John Ossoff don't believe the process is working, and both are pushing bills to end stock trading by members of Congress.
We know that lawmakers are not living up to the standard that they set for themselves, that they're violating the Stock Act's disclosure provision.
This isn't the first attempt at banning members from trading individual stocks. A year ago, House legislation would have required lawmakers, as well as their spouses and children, to put investment assets into a qualified blind trust. Another bill prevented trades for lawmakers and senior staffers, but not family members.
Sometimes even the far right and the far left coming together and basically saying, wait, why is this legal?
The latest debate follows a recent Business Insider investigation and other media reports of 50-plus members of Congress and some 180 staffers violating the Federal Stock Act. The offenses range from being late in disclosing trades to personally investing in industries they oversee. It follows the resignation of Federal Reserve Vice Chair Richard Clarida over questionable trading activity at the start of the COVID pandemic. Clarida apparently wasn't alone. The study reports numerous lawmakers holding, buying, or selling stock connected to COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers. Republican Senator Rand Paul was reportedly 16 months late in disclosing that his wife bought stock in a biopharmaceutical company that manufactures an antiviral COVID-19 treatment.
It makes it incredibly challenging when you have to evaluate decisions about vaccine mandates or how many shots do you have to have from a booster perspective before you're considered fully vaccinated. Are we talking about things that are truly being driven by the science? Or are we talking about things that are driven by these companies that members of Congress are invested in?
Other members are accused of actively shaping policy while investing in corporations that could benefit from their work. They range from military defense contractors to energy companies, media outlets, and more. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, whose husband's holdings include numerous tech companies, is a vocal critic of a stock trade ban.
This is a free market and we're a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
Violators of the Stock Act face a fine of about $200, usually waived by Senate or House ethics officials. Now watchdogs and even some lawmakers are using this report to call for stricter penalties. In Washington, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
Well, it's an obvious conflict of interest to invest in a company or an industry that you're actively regulating, you're actively participating in either passing laws that could benefit or could hinder that industry. And so do we need this kind of regulation? In my opinion, yes. Let's go all the way back to 1988. It was kind of an unusual thing, but it was a declaration by George Bush as he was running for president that he was going to put all of his assets into a blind trust. And he wouldn't be able to control the investments, that he would have investment advisors taking care of that for him. That's not a bad idea for members of Congress. They can still participate in the market. They can still have investment income, but they don't control it anymore. And so you don't have any accusations of impropriety or insider trading or trading on some kind of special knowledge. that's not available to the general public. This law was passed out of concern over that 10 years ago. We survived as a republic for over 200 years without it. But here we are looking at it and saying, well, maybe we need something more. Blind trusts are not bad things, and they allow investment returns without active participation. That's probably something at this point in time we need to take up.